I'm calling you out. I'm so sick of these people. You know, oh. If it comes out of my mouth, and I sit up there and I literally articulate the stuff that this man has done.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Courtside Gossips. Today we are diving into the world of NBA journalism to discuss a figure who needs no introduction, Stephen A. Smith. Known for his fiery commentary and no-holds-barred approach, Smith has become one of the most recognizable faces in sports media. You might hate him, you might love him. One thing is certain, with Stephen A. Smith it is hard to be indifferent. During the span of his career, Stephen made a lot of bold statements and comments. For the purpose of my channel, I will focus only on those related to NBA, but as you know, there has been much more. But first, let me remind you guys, hit like under this video and subscribe my channel, or I will do some magic and curse your favorite team, making Doc Rivers be its next head coach. Jokes aside, it helps to grow the channel and is kind of source of satisfaction for me, to see those numbers grow. So chip in and hit like and subscribe. Stephen A. Smith has been in the industry for nearly 30 years, starting his career in print media before transitioning to television. He's been with ESPN since 2005, and his current salary is reported to be around $12 million per year, making him one of the highest paid sports commentators in the world.
Man, how you doing?
Are you not entertained? What's up, baby?
What's going on, baby? It's good to see you, man.
Now let's move on to some of his most controversial and bold statements, specifically related to NBA. Stick with me guys, as it is interesting to see them all listed after a few years have passed. You do not want to miss that one. Let me know in the comments, which in your opinion was the boldest statement of Stephen A. LeBron, Bosh and Wade will all land with Miami forming a big three.
The answer to the question everybody wants to know. LeBron, what's your decision?
In this fall, man, this is very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
Miami Heat.
Not many people remember now the huge buzz in NBA from the June of 2010. All the media were trying to predict where LeBron will move from Cleveland. Actually, Bulls and Knicks were two most likely candidates to land James, according to media back then, with Miami being a third possibility. Stephen A. Smith was not with ESPN as his contract was not renewed. During his Fox Sports radio morning show called The Stephen A. Smith Show, he announced that not only LeBron will join the Heat, but he also stated that Chris Bosh and Wade, who back then actually also was a free agent, will sign with Heat to form a big three. Considering the importance of this event, I simply had to put it here, as not many news in the last 20 years of the NBA were like of a bigger weight than creation of big three in Miami, and it forever changed the perception of LeBron's career and trajectory of it. Stephen A. predicted it like he had a crystal ball. Kevin Durant should leave the Golden State Warriors.
How are you viewing this move from Durant?
Well, I'm viewing it as the weakest move I've ever seen from a superstar.
Stephen A., should he consider leaving the Warriors?
I think he should, believe it or not. But there is still one nugget left. And that's having your own team where you're the alpha dog, where you are the face of the franchise, and everything is riding on your shoulders as a number one option. That's the one thing that's left open for him to prove, and he can't possibly do that being at Golden State. He would have to go somewhere else.
In 2019, Smith suggested that Kevin Durant should leave the Golden State Warriors to prove that he could lead a team to championship on his own. This statement was met with a backlash from those who felt that Smith was undermining Durant's contributions to the Warriors' success. But the feeling was like the rings KD got with Golden State were of lesser value. In 2016, Stephen A. said that KD going to Warriors was the weakest move he ever seen in professional sports. Then, as mentioned, he suggested that KD should leave Golden State Warriors to prove himself. And, as of now, Stephen A. keeps saying that leaving Warriors was like worst move by KD in his career. It is probably safe to say that Stephen A. likes to criticize KD, but on the other side, it is hard to disagree with Stephen A.'s reasoning. And the story of KD overall is probably one of the most saddening what-ifs in NBA history. The New York Knicks are a disgrace.
Last time the New York Knicks won a championship, I was 5 years old. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm 51. And damn it, I'm not just talking about myself. I'm talking about New York Knicks fans everywhere. We have suffered. I need prayer. I need my prayers answered for just once. Please, please, please. Just one time. When it comes to these Knicks, if you are a Knicks fan, this is the equivalent of being kidnapped, stored in a basement.
Smith, a New York native and lifelong Knicks fan, has been openly critical of the team's management. His passionate rants about the Knicks' poor performance and questionable decisions have made headlines on multiple occasions. But good part is that the Knicks actually became a very good team this past season, so we can breathe a sigh of relief, as Stephen A's block pressure probably will not become problematic in near future. Kawhi Leonard is not a superstar.
Worst superstar in the history of sports. He is a nightmare. Do you know that Kawhi Leonard hasn't been available for 15 of the last 19 Clippers playoff games? Kawhi Leonard locked up. He's the worst superstar you could possibly have because he's hurt half the time, and the other half the time he does nothing to market the sport in your brand, okay? So you're not generating any revenue that way, right? In the case of Kawhi Leonard, I stand alone probably on this, but I don't care. I think the man should retire. I'm sick of these injuries.
There is no way in hell that Kawhi Leonard should be on this team.
Despite Leonard's impressive resume, Smith has argued that he lacks the charisma and marketability of a true NBA superstar. Additionally, Stephen A. constantly questions availability issues of Leonard, prolonged injury breaks, and overall considers Leonard's tenure with Clippers as a failure. This comment drew criticism from fans who believe that Leonard's on-court performance should speak for itself, but that is the key, on-court performance. When he is on court, Leonard is nothing short of amazing, but major part of the season he is spending on the sidelines, being seen as one of the reasons why Clippers recently failed to fulfill their potential. Personally, I actually like the fact that Stephen A. is not afraid to bring it up, especially remembering how Leonard left the Spurs, blaming them for his injury treatment. And now, after years, he is being blamed for hampering his team's chances due to injuries. Karma is a bad lady. Russell Westbrook triple-doubles are overrated.
But in terms of results, Kevin Durant was your teammate. Harden was your teammate not once but twice. Reggie Jackson was your teammate. Serge Ibaka was your teammate. Victor Oladipo was your teammate. Paul George was your teammate. Bradley Beal is your teammate. I mean, damn. And not a single title to show for it. The numbers are the numbers. That's Russell Westbrook. He can do that to anybody. But I'm at a point in time in his career where it's like, it ain't about that no more. It's about whether or not you can get to another level to win the chip.
Smith has downplayed the significance of Russell Westbrook's record-breaking triple-double streak, suggesting that individual stats are less important than team success. Obviously, what Westbrook achieved, beating the triple-doubles record of Oscar Robertson, will be remembered for a long time. But overall, once again, something where it is hard to disagree with Stephen A. Westbrook's stats for bigger part of his career were unbelievably good, but it has never translated into championship and team success unluckily, and we can only confirm it now, few years after Russ has beaten the Big O's record. Dwight Howard is not a Hall of Famer.
I do not believe that Dwight Howard is a Hall of Famer. Believe it or not, I think he has a chance to be, but I don't think he is. He's certainly not first ballot. Since that time, remember, before he went to LA, he went to Houston. Drama. LA, drama. You know, then the Charlotte and you know, I mean, you know, you got all of this stuff going on. And when you spend that much time having dissipated and diminished, that's going to be problematic for you.
Despite Howard's multiple Defensive Player of the Year awards and All-Star appearances, Smith has argued that he does not deserve a spot in the Basketball Hall of Fame. This has been a contentious point among NBA fans and analysts. The case for Howard's Hall of Fame status can be made both ways. One could argue that even with all that he has done, he hasn't nearly enough to warrant entry, especially after the string of abysmal seasons he had, following his departure from Houston, and how Dwight currently spends his time joking 24/7 of NBA players and teams that they should have signed him, or inviting various players to join him in Philippines. Surely, does not help his case. That is one of the issues with Dwight. He used to be great in Orlando, but how he handled himself later was unprofessional with his approach to the game, earned him a lot of hate and criticism, making the case for statements similar to the one of Stephen A. Carmelo Anthony should retire.
In the case of Melo, let's face reality. Let's look at it for what it is. I'm seeing Melo not be in the same physical specimen. Melo is not a number one option. Melo cannot carry the load anymore. And I think that would be Melo's very last chance. If it doesn't work out for Melo in LA, Melo needs to retire.
Sad about Carmelo Anthony. I cannot believe what I am seeing. He looks bad. It's true, Max, you and others, when you sat up there and said, it's just over. Because right now, Carmelo Anthony looks done.
In 2018, Smith suggested that Carmelo Anthony should retire from the NBA. That hit twice as strong considering the fact that Carmelo just year before ended his stint with Knicks, beloved team of Stephen A. Back then, Carmelo was still convinced that he is a premier NBA superstar. People were still remembering how clashes of James with Melo earlier in their careers were super exciting, and they went often like head to head when we were speaking who is the better player. But his stats started to say that reality might be a bit different. Melo averaged 32 minutes for OKC, but it started to be obvious that he no longer can be a main point of offense for any team and that he struggles. On top of that, Melo few times stated that he is unwilling to take a bench role as his ego was an apparent issue. This led Stephen A. to issue this statement, but Stephen A. was not alone with his thoughts. From perspective of few years, all of us can agree that if Melo changed his attitude, he maybe would have a shot for a ring with some team. But Melo being delusional about himself led to his ugly downfall, problems with being signed by any team at some point, or simply he jumped from team to team. Melo definitely is one of those guys who we all would wish had a better ending of his career. As problematic as he was, he definitely deserved to win a chip. 20 years ago, he and James were two young guns electrifying whole league. Stephen A. was one of the first guys who dared to say that Melo should think about retirement.
Their scoring average in each person's final college season. Do we have any guesses who this might be? Jalen, who do you think? What is this?
Nah, this is hilarious. JJ's on the right.
It's our starting lineup from tonight.
Well, they're not telling us I only played one game because I cracked my kneecap in half. I only played one game because I cracked my kneecap in half.
Kyrie Irving's flat earth comments are a disgrace.
When I started actually doing research on my own and figuring out that there is no real picture of Earth, like there's not one picture of Earth, and we haven't been back to the moon since.
Smith took issue with Kyrie Irving's comments about the Earth being flat, calling them a disgrace. He argued that such statements set a bad example for young fans who look up to NBA players. And that is one of the aspects of Stephen A, which I love. He is not afraid to bash even the most popular players in the league, and he does it with grace and elegance. And back then it was kind of a loud issue. Such statements by NBA players were, we have to admit it, very detrimental to a league as a whole. And Stephen A was one of those who were not holding back to express his views. Los Angeles Lakers made a mistake by signing LeBron James.
This is the kind of stuff that's been going on with the Los Angeles Lakers. It's an absolute disaster as we speak right now, disintegrating before our very eyes. What are you here for, LeBron? Are you here to play basketball, or are you here for Hollywood? They're not feeling this Lakers team. They're not feeling LeBron James. And if Magic Johnson doesn't fix this soon, they ain't gonna be feeling him either. And I said this about Irvin Magic Johnson. That's how bad it's looking right now.
After the Lakers missed the playoffs in LeBron James' first season with the team, Smith suggested that the Lakers made a mistake by signing him. The team finished in 4th place in the Pacific Division and failed to qualify for the playoffs for the 6th consecutive year. The season marked the first time since 2005 that Lakers star LeBron James did not appear in the playoffs, and first time since 2010 that he missed the finals. Lakers team was very dysfunctional, multiple players were unhappy, chemistry issues were disastrous. Stephen A famously said that it looks like LeBron was in Los Angeles for the Hollywood and not for the Lakers. Whether you agree with him or not, there is no denying that Stephen A. Smith has made a significant impact on sport journalism. His controversial statements keep fans engaged and drive conversations about the NBA. But as we have seen, they can also lead to backlash and criticism. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts on these controversies. Leave a comment below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching.